Call me Megan, please." The woman paused, then took a deep gulp of air and the words rushed out. "I want you to figure out if I'm crazy." Chapter 2. Jane didn't try to hide her surprise, though she consciously softened her features with a pleasant smile before she spoke. "I'm afraid I'm not that kind of professional. My practice involves fixing small problems that require discreet handling, things that, while vexing, aren't appropriate for the police. I have no therapeutic credentials whatsoever. I'd be happy to give you some names." Megan nodded, flashing her big smile. "You're exactly what I need. Someone discreet who can observe my life and tell me if my symptoms are, as I believe, caused by something real or if they're in my head." In spite of her better instincts, Jane was intrigued. She opened the small red leather-bound notebook that sat on her desktop and picked up a pen. "And your symptoms are?" "Flashing lights wake me in the middle of the night, but when I open my eyes, the room is dark and I'm in a pool of sweat." "It's been quite warm." "I have central air." "There may be medical reasons," Jane offered. Megan held up a cautioning palm. "I've been to my primary care physician, and she's even referred me to an endocrinologist. There's no physical cause, if that's what you mean." It had been what Jane had meant. She motioned for Megan to go on, but Megan did not. Finally, Jane said, "Unless you want to hire me to watch you sleep, I don't see what I can do." Megan's brow creased and her full lips pursed. They sat like that for another few moments. "That's not the worst of it." She hesitated again. "I've been forgetting things, and losing time, having blackouts, I suppose you would say." The rest came out in a rush. "And hearing voices. I believe someone is stalking me." Jane's pulse rate increased steadily through the recitation. The woman sitting in front of her looked sane, but a long life had taught Jane not all lunatics looked as if they'd recently escaped from Bedlam. "This seems quite serious. You must see a psychiatrist or a psychologist as soon as possible." Megan inhaled deeply and then let out a long breath. "I don't want to do that. Not yet, anyway. I'm up for partner at my law firm this fall, and I don't want either the HR department or my insurance company to know about this." She tapped a finger on Jane's big mahogany desk. "Especially if my symptoms aren't caused by mental illness. Because I don't think they are. I believe someone really is out to get me." Jane didn't point out that this was exactly what someone would believe if they were suffering from a major mental illness. Instead, she said, "Will you promise me that if I determine there are no tangible reasons for your symptoms, you will consult a qualified psychologist or psychiatrist?" Megan held up her hand, oath-taking style. "I promise." "I charge by the hour or by the day." Jane named a healthy figure. "Does that mean you'll take my case?" Jane closed the notebook. "Yes. When would you like to get started?" "As soon as possible." Megan stood. "Can you meet me at my house this evening? I'll leave work early, around 6 o'clock. Jane agreed and walked Megan to the door. They said their goodbyes, and Jane watched her neighbors retreating back as she made her way down the flagstones to the sidewalk. Chapter 3. What do we think of the young woman who moved in next door to me? Jane was at her weekly bridge game with Helen Graham, Phyllis Goldstein, and Irma Brittleson, her great and good friends. They were at Phyllis's house today, across the street from Helen's and around the corner from Jane's. "In the Baxter place?" Helen said. The Baxters had been middle-aged when Jane had moved into the neighborhood as a young faculty wife. Their teenagers had babysat for her son, Jonathan. A couple of years ago, they'd grown too old for the stairs and the snow and the gutters. They sold up and moved to a senior living community. That's when the flipper bought it. "I only know her to wave hello," Helen said. "She seems nice enough." Helen was their golden goddess. Slim, athletic, her white hair worn in the same pageboy she'd sported since